focused on early stage technology investments to include fintech. In recent years, of course, some of the focus has been on the blockchain side as well in terms of equity investments. Last year, one of my students, I teach in Singapore at Nanyang Technological University. One of my students, who's actually a core member of the Shivom team, approached me to tell me about the project. And this particular individual was really interested in having me participate, and I was aware of blockchain projects. I've supported some. And when I learned about what the core team was doing with Shivom and what the opportunity was, I was amazed. Because if the team does it right, and if we execute properly, there was a chance to really change the world and help so many people with the next era of healthcare. And so that's why we're here today. And as you can see, I think with what Axel has already described, this is a wonderful use case, an opportunity for blockchain, and really to transform healthcare. And so hopefully by the end of today's presentation, you'll have a very good feel for where we're going with this project, and hopefully we'll have all of you as early supporters and champions as well. So as with any early stage project, depending on whether it's going to be successful or not, a lot of it depends on timing, right? And in this particular case, for Shivom, we believe this wonderful timing for this project. First, as Axel has already mentioned earlier, when we talk about healthcare, no matter where we go in the world, the healthcare system has so many challenges and so many problems. The healthcare system right now is really ripe for a change and for disruption. Anywhere you go, you know that the drug discovery process is very inefficient. Data is siloed, so while there's many great data and the systems don't speak with each other, so it makes the drug discovery process very inefficient. Also, as we all know, security remains a very big problem. Most databases around the world using a centralized format are not secure. And we all routinely hear about data breaches almost daily or weekly. The other item is that all of us, who've gone to the doctor or are patients, we still don't have proper control over our records and over our data. And despite all the advances, we still have these challenges to be able to manage and control, which for many of us, we know third parties are monetizing on the data. So that's a very significant problem. So you have all of these challenges happening on the healthcare side. But at the same time, we've made tremendous progress in technology. So what many people are describing right now is that we are in an era of the next industrial revolution, which is going to be centered around data and specifically healthcare and healthcare services. So what you can see here on the map, it's actually predicted that by 2020, there's going to be nearly $9 trillion in healthcare services spending. It's a huge market. And as precision medicine, specifically driven by genomics, continues to develop, a bigger part of that $9 trillion is going to come from precision medicine. And that's the part that we are really focused on and helping to usher in the coming years. And beyond that, as technology advances, it's predicted that within the next 20 years, 15, 20 years, at least in the United States, more than 90% of the US population will have had their genome sequenced. And this is a trend that's going to happen all around the world because all of us are pursuing better wellness and better health. And as you can see here, and as we anecdotally, as we travel around the world, we see there's so much demand for new innovations and new applications for healthcare. And so we believe the Shivom project is going to be well poised and be very excellent and positioned for the future. Another key factor for why the timing is perfect right now is that over the past 20 years, the cost to sequence your genomes has dropped dramatically. So the economics are so much better and timely for our project. 20 years ago, it would cost more than $3 billion to have your genome sequenced. And in the next few years, it's predicted it'll be under $100 US. So at some point, in fact, probably employers will subsidize genomic sequencing. Why? They will do this because, of course, they want their employees to be healthy for wellness, but also probably because they're going to have lower insurance premiums as well. So there's a lot of economic interest to have everyone's genome sequenced. Everyone should be healthier. So it's no surprise that in the past few years, there's been a lot of very significant players in the space that are coming on board to focus on precision medicine, genomics, through the use of artificial intelligence and other latest technologies. Now, a lot of these companies here are backed by equity investments, venture capital. And so what we see here beyond competition is that this is tremendous validation in the space that we are focused on right now. Many people are really focused on becoming the first and the best in this era that we think is going to be very promising for many, many years to come. In terms of the landscape right now, when you see some of the more common players out there, there's not too many actually, because in order to be successful in the space, you need to have an excellent team that understands the technology, but also understands the science. So we've taken a look at some of the main projects that are out in the market today, and we believe Shivom is very well positioned to compete, and to not only compete, but to excel. And there's a few key differences among Shivom and the rest of the landscape. One, as has been discussed, of course, we are using blockchain technology. A lot of the big players right now are not. So that means all of their technology, all of their architecture is centralized. And of course, as we've all been discussing today, is that means that they're very susceptible to security risks. So we are going to be decentralized and utilize blockchain technology. Another key difference, I would say, is the business model. So some of these other players here, they're focused on monetizing people's data. This is happening all around the world. You collect data, they monetize through third parties. Shivom, of course, through our business model, we are going to democratize genomic sequencing for everybody around the world. You will own your genomes. You will have full control over who has access to your data. And if you want to monetize and have your genomes participate in a clinical trial, you will earn the money for that. So this is a very big distinction, is that the business model, very different than what some of the other companies are doing. The other piece is that some of these blockchain projects here, they are focused on one aspect, perhaps just genomics. What Shivom is doing is we are beyond just genomics. That's the first part for us. We are going to build beyond just a large genomics data hub, we're going to have an end-to-end healthcare services platform. So genomics will be one piece. We'll have genomic counselors, we'll have third-party apps, and once we have sufficient amount of data, we will move towards our own drug discovery using artificial intelligence. So it is an end-to-end approach, comprehensive, and this is a very significant difference than a lot of the other competitors out there. And the last piece, and I'll touch on this a little bit later, is the team. We believe we have an outstanding team that's going to be able to execute, which, as many people know in this room, for startups and really promising companies, you need to have the right team. And we'll touch on that in a little bit more. Now, another big piece of why we believe we are very poised for success is that we have also very early on focused on getting the right partners, okay? When we look at healthcare, healthcare is not just something that you have a few people working on. It is a global problem, which means you need to have the best partners around the world. So a few weeks back, we made a major announcement that Shivom has entered into a strategic alliance with NASDAQ-listed GTG Labs, which is based in Australia. Now, what GTG Labs focuses on is breast cancer. So the idea through our partnership is that They will utilize our genomics data hub in the future, and GTG, through their diagnostic kits and their panels, together we will make better ways to have early detection and prevention of breast cancer. This is one use case that received a lot of news, and we're going to have many other partnerships like this, because the more that we can work together through data, we can help more people around the world with their different ailments and sicknesses. Another big announcement, this one's actually very new, was about a week ago. We also announced that Shivom has entered into a partnership with the government of Andhra Pradesh in India. This is a very, very big news. So unlike other companies that are focusing perhaps more on a local, regional level, we are working comprehensively, not only on the enterprise side, but also with governments. We're all working together to tackle this problem. There's a lot of regulation when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to blockchain technology and tokens. So we all need to work together to navigate, to make sure that this is successful. And with Andhra Pradesh, they're very keen to have their 60 million people within their region to have better healthcare, to improve wellness. And part of that is to get genomic sequencing. So the idea is that Shivom and Andhra Pradesh will work together to initiate the process to get the local citizens sequenced, thereby providing better access to healthcare and better health solutions. So this is one of the first major types of announcements of this kind, particularly on the blockchain and healthcare space. And this is just another summary of some of our early supporters, some of our early partners and champions. You know, when you talk about blockchain and healthcare and artificial intelligence, it really resonates very well with many people out there. And so we've been very, very fortunate and blessed to have a lot of great partners and early supporters. So the project itself began at the end, around December 2016. That was the genesis of the idea. By the time 2017 came, we received some seed financing to get the project moving. And very quickly, we started focusing on partnerships. Again, this is such a huge problem that you need to have a technology partner, you have to have other innovative partners, healthcare partners. So again, we've been announcing these partnerships along the way, and we will have more announcements forthcoming. So by March, we had the announcement with Andhra Pradesh. And you can see even within the past few weeks, our Telegram channel actually is in excess of 70,000. It's a huge community, and my understanding is one of the fastest growing communities on the Telegram channel. Again, everyone seems to understand the challenges and the problems with healthcare and very enthusiastic with blockchain. So I believe that's one of the key drivers for the interest in our project. And you know, we've actually had so much momentum. We're proud to say that my understanding is that at this juncture, we are oversubscribed in a lot of different regions, to include here in Korea. So I would encourage, if anybody is interested in our project, to please speak with our local partners, and I think they can get you on some wait lists. So, but again, tremendous support for our project, and it's something that we're very proud of. Of course, beyond just partnerships, we're of course focused on building the technology as well. We have some very good crypto partners, data exchange protocols, data management layers, and a big distinction for our project versus some others is that we will have a unique global ID for every person that's on our platform, and that's going to be hashed in the blockchain. So that's a big part of the system that we're building. And of course, everything we're doing has data privacy and security by design is our immediate priority for us. And before the platform is going to be rolled out, we must make sure that any data that is on our platform is secure. So we are very much focused on that right now. And we hope that we will begin to start to sequence people on our platform around the 3rd to 4th quarter of this year. So in terms of our go-to-market strategy, first we're going to focus on the direct-to-consumer market. So just like some of the is an example of all the different companies out there right now, if you want to get your genome sequenced, you can simply receive a saliva kit in the mail, and you can do a saliva sample, mail that back, and start to get some insights, right? So that is going to be one channel for us immediately that we will start from a sequencing perspective. But another really great channel for us, and we will be focused on that, is for all the people around the world that have already had their genome sequenced. Well, they don't have control over their data. On the Shivom platform, they will. So as we've traveled around the world, we've bumped into many people that said, hey, I already got my genome sequenced, can I also participate on your platform? And we say absolutely, because if you participate on our platform, now you have control. Now you can direct your genomes to participate in certain studies, or if you want to monetize through clinical trials through our pharma partners in the future, that'll be your decision. So everybody that's already had their genome sequenced will have an opportunity to upload it onto our platform to also have some future benefits. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest attributes and strengths, especially for a company just starting out in the early stage, it's the team. The team is essential because obviously we need to execute. And what I see here on this team is fantastic, is that we have very strong depth from a deep technical, but we also have a lot of people very versed from business all the way to various domains, which is going to allow us to have a lot of strength to move the project forward. As Axel has already described, he's a more than 20-year PhD geneticist, is one of the leading experts in the blockchain and healthcare space. He's been successful on the entrepreneur side as well. Gorish, one of the co-founders who is based in India. He's a serial entrepreneur at 3 successful companies, also an early pioneer on the blockchain space in India. Natalie, who's based in London, she's our Chief Scientific Officer. She's also a PhD with a focus on precision medicine, and she's had almost 10 years as a lecturer as well, and is advising on multiple healthcare technology companies. Sally, also based in London, she's actually on the Forbes UK Technology Council. She's considered a top 10 influencer, actually worldwide on the blockchain space, and has had a lot of experience both on the marketing and technology side. I shared a little bit about myself already. And Akash, he's also, I think, had the first very successful blockchain company in India, so he's been an early pioneer in the space, and he's serving as the CTO. Beyond, so the team itself, that was an example sort of our senior team, but we have a total of 15 individuals around the world. But in addition, a key thing that we've been focused on as well is assembling what we call the Shivom Innovation Council. I like to describe this group as our internal think tank. These individuals are visionaries, experts in the field, and it's a variety of domains. And what is going to be valuable to have this group is that they're helping the management team with day-to-day operations and strategy, but more important is that they're focused on prioritizing solutions in the future for the years, 5-10 years out. Give you an example, Dr. Sanders, in the US, he's considered the father of telemedicine. Now, why is that important? Because genomic counseling network is going to be critically important on our platform. So if you have some information, the data itself is meaningless if you cannot understand it. So the counselors that will be on our platform, they will help everyone who gets their genome sequenced to understand what the data means. So in the future, your relationship, instead of just being with a doctor, most likely will be you have all this data at your fingertips, but you'll also dialogue with a genomic counselor. Dr. Amalio Talenti here, he's the Chief Data Scientist at Scripps in San Diego, but he was also the Chief Scientific Officer at the Human Longevity Institute, which is basically focused on sequencing the first 10,000 individuals, a whole genome sequencing. Jeff Hancock, he's almost 30 years as a cybersecurity expert, helping governments and organizations with a lot of focus on the healthcare side. And Tavi Huevas here is actually recent news as well. He's the former Prime Minister of Estonia, and he is also the Minister of Health and Social Affairs. And he's come on board our Innovation Council as well, because this is the first blockchain project for him. But he saw the promise in the future of what Shivom is doing, and so we're very happy to have him as one of our council members. And there's a few more here. We'll have a few more announcements coming as well. But these are experts and visionaries ranging from neurology to bioinformatics, venture capital, and of course Tony G. He's also on the European Parliament as well, and very active in the blockchain space. So another wonderful member for our council. And this is just Sally. She's, as I mentioned earlier, a real significant influencer. She's also a very famous TEDx speaker. So we've got great people on the team. We're very excited and very keen to move this project forward. And we hope that after you've had a chance to learn more about the project today, and of course I'm sure some of you will have questions, that hopefully by the end of today we can also have you all as early supporters and champions as well. And I wanted to just close by just a quick announcement. We've just had so much great support here in the region, and Korea is such a wonderful community. We actually have